The reason multiple game engines exist is because one size does not fit all. Let's have a look at some of the common criteria you can use to assess which game engine is right for you. The first criteria would be the type of game you want to create. And with Unity, the sky is really the limit. You can create 3D games, 2D games, 2.5D games, and there's not a lot of limitation around the sort of games you can create. You can create racing games, tower defense games, shooters, whatever you desire. There will be engines that excel a little better in some of those areas. Maybe they have more complex shading systems, even though Unity is always catching up in that area, but that's going a little bit far from the criteria. So just purely on game types, there's not a lot of limitations here. Another good criteria to set yourself is the platform. What platform does this game belong on? You might be making a match 3 game. In that case, iOS or Android might be a good place for it. If it's a shooter, then Windows or Mac, or even the consoles, Xbox One, PS4. And this is an area where Unity, once again, pretty much has you covered. Just about every platform you can imagine is supported by Unity. There are a few exceptions, but in most cases, you'll be able to roll out your Unity game on all of these platforms, even web. Unity also has some powerful options to make it easier to build cross-platform games without writing a whole lot of extra code because you have to make adjustments for a certain platform. This leads to another thing, ease of use. Unity is a very easy piece of software to navigate and use and make changes and debug code, all that sort of stuff. It's really easy to do in Unity. One thing that is both a pro and a con, depending on how you look at it, is that in Unity you're pretty much pigeonholed into a single game design architecture and paradigm. Unity is very much designed around the philosophy of an entity component system. And this isn't a bad thing. With the whole interface designed that way, a lot of the boilerplate code has been handled for you behind the scenes, so you're writing a lot less code. Everything is tailored towards this design pattern, so there's nothing that's made increasingly difficult. But if you have a preferred design pattern aside from ECS, this may be a problem for you because you're pretty much pigeonholed into one way of designing your games. If none of what I just said makes any sense to you, then that's okay too. That means that it's probably not going to be a problem for you. We're going to be learning how to build games using the entity component system within Unity. One thing that really puts Unity ahead in the ease of use is that a lot of the big game developers will prototype their games in Unity before bringing it into their own engines. I was at a panel last year for Halfbrick who say that for all their mobile games that they're trialing or having ideas on, they will generally start in Unity before they bring it into their own engine. So that is testament to just how easy it is to get up and running in Unity. Now another criteria is support and longevity. So how long is this piece of software going to be around for, and can I rely on their support team? So on the support side of it, there are a lot of users of Unity, and you'll find on Stack Overflow or even in the Unity forums, just about every question you can think of has an answer. So you should be able to get up and running pretty easy and ask the questions and get quick and easy answers. For longevity, once again, having such a huge audience is a good thing. It seems at this point it's unlikely that Unity will ever go away. It keeps getting stronger each year. It's being heavily developed, and there's no signs of that changing into the future. But you always need to be careful when using these third-party products, especially when, in the case of Unity, you need a subscription to their service in order to even just log into the software. That means if their service does disappear, then you won't be able to access the software at all. And while the risk of that might be low, it's something you need to consider when you're pouring hours and hours of effort into your product. There are a lot of people who say they'll never happen, but look at Pass.com. If you've never heard of Pass.com, it was a popular back-end service for games and mobile apps to be able to use data in the background. And the service was acquired a few years ago by Facebook, so it seemed at the time that it was going to be around for a long time and it was a stable system to put your trust in. Then, just out of the blue, they closed the company down. It wasn't profitable enough for whatever reason, and they decided to just end it. I'm not trying to scare you by saying this, but it's something you always need to consider. There is risk. It's a considerably small risk, but it's still there. So based on that, there really isn't much I can fault Unity on. It's a very strong system backed by a strong company. And there's very little financial risk in using it, as you can use the free software up until you're earning over 100,000 US per year. And at that point, you probably don't mind paying the $75 per month subscription fee. You're obviously making enough money to cover it. I hope this video has helped you in some way decide whether you want to start using Unity or not. If you want to look at other game engines, which you should, because you should have a complete view of what is out there before you commit to learning something. Just make sure you run it past the same criteria. So that's the game types, the platforms, the ease of use, and support and longevity of the company. Okay, I'm sure by now if you still want to use Unity, you're itching to get into it and get started. So thank you for watching these preliminary videos, and now let's get on to making some games.